Don't you sometimes wish you had a time machine and you could go back to your 20-year-old self and give yourself some wisdom? Well, I guess many of us do, including me. So here are three things I would tell my 20-year-old self if I had the opportunity. Number one would be, don't worry so much about what other people think. The only opinion that really matters is yours. I remember finding myself in college trying to impress my teachers, my parents, my faculty, and going above and beyond what I needed to do just to get praise or to be acknowledged. I didn't know at that time that I had some inner child wounds that I needed to heal. And I was overdoing, overachieving, doing whatever I could to get other people's approval. I wish I could go back to my 20-year-old self and say, relax. Their opinions are not that important. Yours is what matters. The second thing I wish I could go back and tell my 20-year-old self is to take time to get to know yourself. In the midst of trying to have a career, trying to do well in school, trying to establish some type of social life, and making a name for myself, I completely forgot to focus on who I was, to get to know who I was. And as a result, I kept looking for evidence of who I needed to be. I really didn't know what made my heart smile that much. And I really didn't know what my tolerations and standards and boundaries were. I wish I could go back to my 20-year-old self and say, hey, take some time off the volunteering. You don't have to take this extra credit, but take time alone in nature to get to know who you really are. And you will make better decisions knowing who you are than trying to figure out who you are. And the last thing I would tell my 20-year-old self was, the way your life is right now doesn't mean it is the way it's going to be forever. By the time I was 20, I had gone through so many things that most 20-year-olds don't go through. And I had made up my mind as to what my life was going to look like in the future, what I was going to be, what I was going to feel, what I was going to have. I had already mapped everything out based on what I had been through, not knowing that I had the right to reinvent myself over and over and over. I had the right to be who I wanted to be, as long as I was operating from self-love, self-respect, and making sure that I went with what my heart wanted to do. Then whoever I decided to be was okay. I wish I could tell my 20-year-old self that. But guess what? I can't. I can't go back. And I really don't want to. So I decided to not focus on that list so much now and focus on what my 50-year-old self would want to feel and do. My 60-year-old self, my 70-year-old self, 80, 90, 100, and 120, who knows? If I had to say anything to those future selves, I would say, you got this. Life's got your back. If you do what you are born to do, life will support you. And remember to have fun. I would do that if I could talk to my future self. And that is the list that I'm going to focus on. I hope you take a look back to remember how you got to where you were, but that you turn your head to the future and the present. Appreciate what you have and be excited about what you can become. This is Maiya Katherine. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao.